fine record as well, just so I can keep getting better.
As Libby said, I'm Sherry Crossnow, and we are members of the Education Committee of the Nonpartisan Citizens for Responsible Government group. We do not endorse or contribute to any candidate. This is informational, and the same questions are asked for all candidates for elected positions. We do have a few questions for you, and if you have no objection, we're going to record this interview, and we want to let you know that the transcript will be published in the Sneak Preview and the Daily Courier and our website. Do you have any objections or questions?
No.
All right, we'll proceed with the interview then. For the record, for the transcript, please state your name and the position you're seeking.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. My name is Cobey Geisler, and I'm running for state representative for District 3. Because I love this community, I'm raising my family here, and I know firsthand what our systems look like when they work and when they fail. I'm not running to represent a political faction. I'm running to bring practical, local solutions that strengthen safety, stability, accountability, and opportunity for the people of Josephine County. My leadership style is balanced, firm when needed, compassionate when appropriate, and always focused on real results.
All right. What are the requirements for the position you're seeking?
For sure, to represent all of our constituents here in District 3 and in Salem, and to show up for the long session and the short session, as well as have a deal. The state representatives, the state legislator deals with the budget, drafting laws, oversight of state agencies. I don't know why I didn't have this one of my notes all listed out to go on, but I don't know why my mind's going blank, but
that's all right.
It's a lot of stuff for sure.
Okay.
So do you have any experience education?
Sorry, my bad. Just one more thing. The biggest thing I think my job is to elevate everyone here's voice, and as well as whether that's their lived experience or professional experience, and just collaborate within the community and build relationships with other state legislatures and actually get things done and accomplished, and hopefully direct funding back to our area is my
all right. Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry, my bad.
So do you have any experience and or education that could apply to the position?
Most definitely. I have lived experience in the foster care system, and I've advocated for change at all levels for quite a few years now. I also work as an Oregon peer navigator for foster kids, and then I'm a member of the Oregon Youth Advisory Committee as well. And then I also was a campaign manager for a state senate candidate last year for the general election, or 2024 for the general election. And then I have many years in management and team building, and I've also done some coaching, and I think those skills directly translate as well. And then I've also have my own local branch here of Value Merchant Services, and we help local businesses with different problems they have and provide credit card processing and debit card processing and stuff like that. Oh. And I think, as well as I have 3 kids here too, so I have experience with dealing with lots of different things that have to do with raising a family here, and all of the different programs and navigating in our healthcare system and all kinds of stuff like that, as well as I've dealt with all of the things that the systems that we're trying to fix, like obviously foster care, poverty, housing instability, and navigating government services, as I mentioned. I'm younger and close to the challenges that families are facing today compared to most candidates. And then I have real experience bringing nonprofits, youth, state agencies, and local leaders together. I'm solutions first, not partisan, and I want to represent everyone, Democrat, Republican, third party, or non-affiliated alike.
So is there a company name or a supervisor you'd like to list?
Foster Club and Ashley Coffinger or Fallon LeBlanc.
Oh, okay. And is there a current conflict possibility, and how could that be
I
resolved?
don't really think there's too too much of a conflict of interest. I wouldn't be working there at all. Mostly right now, I'm just a volunteer that receives a weekly stipend. So I wouldn't continue my volunteer position as well on there. I also am a member of the Oregon Forward Party leadership team. It's not left, not right. We just want to move forward and bring responsible government and good reforms and stand for important change that needs to be made. And so I'm currently working on the state leadership team there too, and I work as the treasurer and the events coordinator, and we're just kind of small group of like 5 people right now, but we're having our first actual all hands meeting coming up within the next 2 weeks. So we're getting out an email blast for that. You can check out the Forward Party website and sign up there, and then you'll end up getting an email for that. And then, but I wouldn't be continuing that either if I was as soon as I actually put my name on the ballot. I have to go through a process of getting 394 valid signatures to actually be a candidate on the ballot in the general election. But for state senate, before I teamed up with a candidate last year, I got over 1,000 signatures to run. So I don't see that as being a problem, especially since I built out lots of infrastructure and keep making connections and getting my name out here and participating in my civic responsibilities of these types of interviews and sit-ins, and hoping to host more forums and stuff like that, and just get myself out there to provide a platform for people to have their voices elevated. And I think that's the main thing I'm trying to do here. Even if I don't win, I'm at least elevating real concerns in our community that need to be addressed.
Well, what do you believe are the most relevant issues currently facing the county right now?
We have quite a few. If I can find it here in my notes. Shoot. Where is it at? Sorry. Oh, addiction and untreated mental health. That's a big one. Housing instability and lack of workforce housing. That's also a really big one. And then crime and public safety concerns. I think the top 2 have a lot to do with that as well. And just other stagnant economic growth as well as all contributes to the crime rates as been proven in lots of different studies. And then we have a lack of foster parents. There's lots of temporary foster placements that are costing tons of money, as well as to the point where the state has tried to open up sending kids out of state again, and that's been very irresponsible of our government. It's caused several, like a $30 million lawsuit most recently, just to name an example, and for the negligence of the children and stuff. There's one example in a Utah home where we sent boys to a boys' home, and there ended up being a riot, and they didn't actually, the state didn't find out that the facility got their license revoked for 3 months or so, and then there's also tons of cases nationally, and where kids get trafficked once they come back to the state. Once they've been sent out of state, when they come back and they don't have any support system or connections or anything like that, they end up getting trafficked too. So that's really irresponsible, I feel like.
Well, what would be your 6-month plan to tackle the issues you've described?
Well, I do have 2 bills I'd really like to introduce, and then I'm already working on a lot of stuff for foster care reform as well on the Oregon Youth Advisory Committee, and hearing other voices through Oregon Peer Navigation, and I provide the National Youth in Transition Database Survey. So right now we're working on 17-year-old cohort. So everyone within their 45th birthday, when they turn 17, we have to survey them, and so we get to hear their experience in foster care and what they'd like to see different and change made and stuff like that. So I'm mostly collecting information still, and then also working with the Oregon Youth Advisory Committee and what we already know to be true and needs to be done, and what we can advise this current state legislature. There's a few different things we're working on, like Legislative Concept 68 right now. It is working on one of the bills that they had last year on Foster Care Bill of Rights, and updating that, is like codifying it to make it actually enforceable, and adding some things that are very important to it, as well as updating the Siblings Bill of Rights. And So we're hoping to get that passed this year. There's several other things, like I'd like to provide and update the reimbursement for foster parents, so it's more in line with the current cost of living and actually raising a child, as well as because like I mentioned, the temporary placements are costing so much, and so if we can actually have certified foster parents ready to go, and if we can incentivize getting certified and having a home ready for kids when needed, so they're not stuck in hotel rooms or hospital beds or end up getting sent out of state or put in residential facilities that have not really worked out, then that's something we're really trying to do. So there's several bills on that. Two bills I'd really like to introduce, though. My top two bills would be one to do with updating land use and here it is. A rural housing reform package allowing more workforce and starter homes, expanding ADUs, and modernizing land use barriers while strategically sending grants to local communities to expand critical infrastructure, such as a grant for critical infrastructure funding for the Allen Creek Urban Growth Development Project. I think that's really critical to expand our housing locally and to address some of our current workforce housing concerns and stuff. So that's a big first one. And then a Measure 110 replacement bill that restores accountability, strengthens law enforcement tools, ties services to progress, and expands treatment while ensuring funds are directed to our area, so that we are not left out of this conversation as we have been in several past legislative sessions. The places around us get funding and we don't receive a dime, so I'd really like to change that.
Okay.
So how will you interact with other elected officials, both county and city and state, to achieve positive results, even if you disagree with their positions?
I'm sorry, can you say it one more time?
How will you interact with other elected officials, county, city, and state, to achieve positive results, even if you disagree with their positions?
I really like that question. I'm really hoping that just making myself available and actually hearing their concerns out and trying to address whatever it is that they may be concerned about will be good enough for them to willing to work too with me. I just feel like being a good person, a decent person, not just attacking them because they have those beliefs or whatever is one way to at least be able to continue conversation and hopefully actually drive real change here. But I definitely understand that it's going to take not just myself to actually drive change, and it's going to take majority of our local elected officials to make real change or anything that I want to introduce or do. Like I think in the past we have rejected funding for addiction treatment here because our county commissioners weren't in line with that. So if we can't be on a similar page it doesn't make a difference if I can pass a bill to there that they then reject the funding. So it will be vitally important that we do have a relationship as well as with the city and addressing the homeless issue and several other issues like the urban growth development and different ODOT issues and several things.
Okay. How will you learn what is important to the citizens of Josephine County, and how will you communicate with them?
I'd love to hold different town halls. I'm willing to make myself available whenever. I have my personal phone number listed on my website. I encourage people to add me on social media and follow along for updates and engage and comment on the information I'm sharing and what their opinions and perspectives are. Currently, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a LinkedIn, but not very active yet on there. And then I have a website where people can leave their concerns as well, where I also have my phone number, email listed. I'm hoping to host either weekly or bi-weekly. I haven't determined yet, but just open like kitchen table conversations. I'm also hoping to have a booth at the county fair, and I want to run a voter registration drive separate from Boatnik, but near Boatnik, and just make myself as available as possible. I'm trying to go door to door and just talk to people and see where they're at, and just always be responsive when people are getting a hold of me, and just making myself available.
Okay. Conversely, how would you prefer the citizens to contact and or communicate with you?
Whatever's their best preferred method, I monitor everything to try to stay on top of it and address all concerns. I prefer if you left an email, probably, but that's the easiest to keep it all organized and reply. And my best times when I'm not dealing with the kids or other responsibilities.
All right.
Well, by the way, if a debate were arranged, would you be willing to participate?
Most definitely. Oh yeah, I find that fun.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the voters before we conclude this interview?
Josephine County deserves a representative who shows up, listens, and brings people together instead of dividing them. I'm running to deliver practical local solutions that strengthen safety, opportunity, and the future of every family here. Thank you for considering me. I'd be honored to earn your support. And then I'd like to also add that it's important that we have a representative who understands our area, shows up, and builds bipartisan coalitions, not extreme viewpoints, and partnering with other rural legislators to push a rural housing bill package and secure addiction treatment funding, I think is going to be very critical for the upcoming large session in the 2027. And then I also think we need to do more for our state in total and locally to support projects like Elk Island and Parker's Place, and I'm glad that that was established and passed through. And I think responsible government means transparency, accountability, and measurable outcomes, and focusing on what works, like funding programs based on results, not political talking points. And then I also support regular audits of state programs, performance-based contracting, reviewing agencies with chronic backlogs or poor outcomes. There's several that we could list, and then like Oregon's failure to track Measure 110 spending, and showing the need for that shows the need for tighter management, as well as organizations like Paid Leave Oregon, who have extreme high backlogs, and other employment department agencies and stuff. Some of it they just need more help, but we just need to actually conduct these studies and have more oversight, and not just let this drag out for as long as they do before it gets addressed, because these are real families and real lives that are getting impacted by this everywhere, and it's not great. So I'd love to be like a liaison between the state agencies and our constituents, and actually represent them to these agencies and try to work around and help them navigate the systems like I currently do for foster youth, to be able to actually receive the benefits they're entitled to, or at least understand their systems better and how they're supposed to apply for things and such. And I think we're really missing that currently, so that's what I feel like I could provide. I also think Oregon should adopt a zero-based budgeting review every budget cycle, so every agency must justify spending, like sunsetting outdated programs and reallocating funds to local priorities like rural health care, behavioral health beds, and treatment capacity. I think that's really critical with the $900 million shortfall our budget is expected to have with the new incoming tax changes. And I know they're going to try to address some of this in the upcoming legislative session, but I think that that's a key piece that could help us in the future with at least responsibly preparing for another type of situation instead of scrambling for some type of solution and hoping that it doesn't further drive us into debt or shut off valuable services for our communities. And I believe that's the most important stuff. I could talk about more foster care reforms, or I don't know if you guys want to hear values that guide my approach, or more about Measure 110, but I think it's important to say that homelessness is not one issue. It's a mix of addiction, mental health, lack of housing options, often in combination with chronic crisis. And the state should support transitional villages like Parker Place that combine structure, safety, and wraparound support, like I stated, but also back and work with local governments to tackle real issues driving homelessness. I think that's going to be super important to really actually making meaningful impacts towards this, and not just having it a problem where we're just continuously throwing money at it instead of solving the real like painful problems for members of our community, no matter who you are. So, and I think we need to fund more recovery housing and not tent-based camping systems. I hope to get that directed to our area, like I said, and require accountability and progress for those receiving services. And then we need compassionate but firm expectations. Stability comes from structure, really. That's what I've learned in my lived experience, for sure. And having structure is vitally important to managing all the multitude of things I'm doing right now. I would never be able to have any remotely time if I would not had lots of structure.
Okay, well, that were all of our questions, so